Okay, so we need to add the shaking of the truck. اوكي شايفين كلكم منيح انه مش عم تقطش عندكم. اوكي okay, so let's just explain عملنا لكان just so we can see everything clearly. Okay, so we need to add the shaking for the truck كأنه the engine is running. Okay, so it's going up and down. هو عادة هيدا السيستم هو كرتونش شوي بكون انه it doesn't happen in real life بس انه في بكون shaking شوي للسيارة. هلا in this case we want to shake it just so we can add personality to the truck لأنه هلا كتير ثابت محله, so we don't want that. Okay, so let's just go back to frame 0. So I'm just gonna drag this head تبعول التايملاين and put it on frame 0. I'm gonna press on the truck so you can see that I've selected taco truck.ai inside of my timeline. هلا I can't really animate what I want to animate بهالحالة هون because it's still one layer. So if you can check on taco truck.ai, you can see that it's one layer. It's a still image, just like it is right here. So inside the project panel, I have taco.ai. So this is a still image. إذا بيجي بتطلع على 8-bit heads هون, this is not a still image. This is made out of different layers that was made in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so these the difference between this one and this one right here is that this is a still image and this is not a still image. This is a combination of different layers. So if you recall, when we replaced a still image with a layered composition, so بالسيشنز اللي قدام سيشن 2 or session 3 وقت عملنا import للassets تبعولاتنا كان 8-bit heads تبعولاتنا it was one layer, so we made it into different layers by just right clicking, going replace footage and with layered comp. Okay, so عم بعملها على taco truck now. So taco truck وانا right click عليها replace footage with layered composition. Okay, so when I press on that you can see two things happen. First, you can see that After Effects added a composition for it. So now there's a composition for Taco Truck. And right here, inside of my timeline, you can see that Taco Truck كانت شكلها مثل هيدي الأبيض هون and then صارت composition. So now it's a composition. So if I close everything else on Burst Comp اللي اشتغلنا عليهم last times and I just double click on Taco Truck. So I'm gonna double click on Taco Truck. You can see that it opened a secondary screen that has the asset of the truck inside of it, okay, which is 432 by 432. So خلقت لي composition based on the asset I've just imported. So now I can go inside of Taco Truck. You can see that I have one different panels. So I can head inside the Taco Truck. And now I have the truck and the wheels. So if I just turn this off, you can see that the wheels are left and I can turn off the wheels. So now it's made out of different layers instead of just one big layer كلها مع بعضها. So صار في more control over the truck. So now I want to animate it. I want to animate it to be shaking up and down. So if I open the truck هون, so make sure that they're inside of taco truck. And I'm just gonna press P on the keyboard. So P is for position. So if I press that, it's gonna open up the position. Or you can just go open this arrow and then transform and then position. نفس الشيء. But I'm just gonna close all of this and press P on the keyboard. It's good to know the shortcuts. Now if I just click and drag on the second term right here, the 202.5, you can see that the truck is going up and down. So this is where we need to animate. So up, down, up, down. So you can see that it's shaking now. So if I do it fast enough, you can see that the truck is shaking. So we need to animate that. So to animate something, يمكن صرتوا تعرفوا معظمكم how to animate because of the small assignment that you did. Everything that can be animated has a stopwatch next to it. So the position in this case of the truck has a stopwatch next to it. So I can press on that. It indicates that it started animating. So you can see that I've added a keyframe on frame 0. Okay, so this is the first one. So now I just want to skip 2 frames. So I'm just going to zoom in using this slider تحت. You can see that I'm zooming inside of my timelines. and now I can see individual frames. So 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames, 4 frames. Whereas كنت بعيد كنت اشعة بس السكندز. So now هقربها شوي تصير اشعة اكتر. Something like this, okay? And I'm just going to skip 2 frames. So I'm on frame 0, so I'm just going to go on frame 2. So 1, 2. So start on frame 2. Or if you want to be more precise, you can just click on your keyboard on page down and page up. Page down and page up. So page down and page up, they're on the right side of your enter button. Okay, so if I just press page down on the keyboard, 1, 2, you can see that I'm skipping frames. So now on frame 2, I want the truck to go down a little bit. So I'm just going to press on this and drag this down. Okay, so somewhere around here تكون نفس المستوى تبعول التراك مع الويل هون. So you can see that I've added another keyframe. That's because the keyframe, the stopwatch is enabled right here. So I'm just going to press page down one more time. So I just skipped one more frame. Page down again. I have another frame. So frame. If you can't find the page up, page down on your keyboard, just click on the head and drag once, twice until you see the number 4 is right here. So that means you're on frame 4. So basically, if I just look at this animation that I just did now, this simple animation, on frame 0 it was like that, on frame 2 it went down a little bit. So you can see that كأنه نزلت. بس now بدي اياها ترجع على نفس البوزيشن تبعولتها. So بدي اياها ما تضلها كتير واطية، بدي اياها تطلع ترجع. So I'm gonna take the same time انه ترجع تطلع، لانه نحن في عندنا بين هيدي الفريم وهالفريم 2 frames, right? So I want between this frame and this frame to go up a little bit. It's fine Michelle، ما بعرف. I think it's because of both our connections يعني. I will. It's being recorded now. I will post this. Okay, so just stick معي إذا بدكم، إذا عم تفهموا شوي. Okay, and it's always good إذا بدكم تسألوني سؤال. So you can just rewatch it إذا بدكم. Okay. So it's going down like this, and now it needs to go up. So I'm just going to fast forward 2 frames, so you can see that I'm on frame 2. I'm gonna press page down on the keyboard, now sort to frame 3. Press page down again, sort to frame 4. Okay, so now I'm on this timeline right here. And now I'm just going to press on this keyframe, on the first one, press Ctrl C on the keyboard to copy it, and Ctrl V to paste it. So now I've pasted it وين الهيد تبعوني موجود right here. So now if I go back and play this, you can see that it's going down and then up. هلا عم تنزل كتير, so I'm just going to fix that. So I'm just going to go to the middle frame right here. Okay. And I'm just going to push this up a little bit. So عم غير الفاليو شوي عليها. So ما تنزل بقى كتير. That's what I mean. So now you can see that I have a sudden nudge شوي صغيرة بالتراك تبعولي. That's what I want. هلا this is the animation that I want, but I want to make it loop شوي لأنه المشكلة إنه it's going 4 frames and 4 frames is not enough. They're not enough. That's because 4 frames أقل من ثانية بكتير يعني. It's probably 1/10 of a second. So we're just going to have to make it شوي أطول. So to do that, I'm gonna select everything, كل ال keyframes. So I've selected all 3 keyframes. I'm gonna press Ctrl C to copy them, and then go to the last keyframe and press Ctrl V. So now I've added these keyframes. So now you can see that it's going up and down twice. So نفس الشيء, I'm just going to select these keyframes, Ctrl C, go to the last one, Ctrl V. Once again, Ctrl C, last keyframe, Ctrl V. So عم طولها. Select all keyframes, Ctrl C, go to the last one, Ctrl V. Once again, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So I'm doubling it at كل مرة. So now I'm at second 4. So you can see that second 4.5 تقريبا. So I'm just gonna select everything again. Ctrl C. Go to the last keyframe right here. Ctrl V. So now I'm at second 8. I'm just gonna select them one more time. Go to the last keyframe. كنترول في. So now صرت الانيميشن عم تلعب تبعولتي around 16 seconds. So now حتضلها هيك. اوكي. بدي اياها تطول لانه ما بدي اياها تقطش نص الفيديو. So if I just go back to screen now and go back to the beginning, you can see that the truck is shaking. Okay, so it's going up and down. So this gives it شوي a little bit more personality and uh, expression يعني. مش هادي محلها. So like the truck is moving up and down. Okay, so that's the first thing عمالنا نعمله اليوم. The second thing we're going to add is the score. So الناس اللي قادرين يقشعوا, I'm just going to show you this video just so we can see the score on the top left of the screen. So we need to play around with that score. هلا في font بدي استعمله. I have it on Blackboard بس ما طلعت لكم اياه لانتو للسكشن تبعولكم. I'm gonna put this on Blackboard after the session is done. So I'm sorry إذا عم تشتغلوا هلا معي, ما بعرف إذا حدا عم يشتغل. So you just have to download the font. هلا بخبركم كيف. Okay, so to upload عادة, let me just open Blackboard, it's fine, and show you وين الفونت. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this from section C to your section. So After Effects, it's called Hydrophilia Iced Font. So I'm just going to copy this to your section. So yeah, okay. So I'm just going to put this. So هلا إذا بتروحوا على your section, Content and After Effects, you can see that you have the font. So just make sure and download it. Okay, so it's gonna download right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on it. Okay, open the file and going hydrophiliaice.ttf. Okay, and then press install. Okay, هلا in my case I already have it on my system, so just go ahead and install it. Okay, this will دغري تفوت على After Effects, so you can just find it in After Effects directly. So if I just go back here, alright, and I want to add the score now, so I want to work with text. So to do that, I'm going to create a solid layer. Okay, so to do that, I can just go layer, new, okay, solid. I'm gonna call this score counter. This is where I want to put my counter لأنه. I'm gonna make it comp size. So just press make on comp size. So بتعمل لي إياها نفس الحجم تبع الcomposition تبعولتي. And make sure it's on white. Okay. And press OK. So now it's gonna add this solid color on top of everything else because هي موجودة أعلى شيء basically فوق التاكو تراك. So it's قدام كل شيء. So now I need to work with my effects and presets. So if you don't have this window right here, you can enable it by going to Window and just selecting Effects and Presets. Okay, so make sure this is ticked on. You can find it on the right side. هلا ممكن تكون غير محل بس it's fine. You can just drag this and play around with it. تحطوها مطرح ما بدكم. I just placed it هون بس تنقشها أحسن. Okay, so we're going to work with something called numbers. Okay, so you can see that I have different types of effects and presets هون. في عندي كتير اشياء. في عندي مثلا keying, في عندي generate. So you can see that I have a lot of different effects. بس نحن بدنا نستعمله called numbers. So I'm just going to write numbers. Okay, so numbers. So it's under text. So I just search for it. So it's under text, it's called numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to enable that on top of score counter. So to add that to score counter, the solid we just made, I can just click on the effect and drag it to the timeline right here, score counter. And you can see that I have a plus sign. That means I can add this effect to my score counter. Or I can just drag it on top of the canvas. You can see that I have a red outline. That means I'm going to apply numbers to this score counter. So I'm just going to let go هون It's gonna ask me this. Okay, so I'm just gonna press OK. I'm not gonna do anything. The first thing that you'll notice is that basically, كنا project, you can see the project panel. After I've added the effect, you can see that now that I have effect control score counter. So now I can just press here and you can see the entire property of the score counter of the numbers I've just imported. So هيدي basically the properties تبعون الnumbers. And now you can see if I zoom in هون, you can see that I have 0.000. So that's the number I've just placed. So I've just placed on top of score counter. Okay, so now it's inside of score counter. لأنه راح الأبيض, you can actually see that the solid background went away. وين سابين؟ هون قصدك taco track layers. That's because you didn't replace with layered composition. Did you do that? Did you go taco track replace footage with layered comp? If you didn't do that, that's why. So make sure to do that. Okay, so now I have the score right here. I want to change it a little bit, بدي أعمله white, يكون white. So I'm just going to press on fill color right here and then go to the top left and press OK. So now it's white. And I can also play around with the position تبعولتها. So the position is actually right here, the position. So it's 600 by 600, so it's in the center because it's a 1200 by 1200 composition, so it's in the center right here. I can just click right on the first value and drag it to the left, so I can push it to the left and push this up and down, or I can just click on the pivot point on it and just drag it around. So نفس الشيء basically. So I'm just gonna place it on the top left. هلا there's still some problems. أول شيء إنه it's displaying decimal points كأنه عم تقول لي point. So 0.000. That's not how the score works نحن عنا. We need to make it a whole number. So you can just go here, decimal places. You can see that it's written 3 next to it. That means I have 3 decimal places. So 1, 0, 2, 0, and 3, 0. I'm just going to make sure that I put 0 here. So I'm going to press on it, write 0 on the keyboard and press enter. So now صار عندي 1, 0. Okay. Next thing we want to do is the score counter begins not at 0. So it doesn't start at 0. It starts at this number. So 10,216. So I need to go back to After Effects and make sure that it's not on 0. So I'm just going to value offset and random right here. It's on 0. So I'm just going to click and drag to the right. You can see that I'm incrementing the number. So هذا اللي زيح, you can see now صارت 9,000. It's 10,000 تقريبا. So this is good. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So 10,210. Okay, something around this line. مش ضروري تكون precise. And I want to increase the size, so I'm just going to press on size right here and increase it تقريبا شي 50. So هيك. Okay, so هيك تقريبا بدي إياها. And I want to change the font, so just make sure to download the font and install it just like the way I told you. And go to options. So I'm just gonna click on options. You can see now that I have a font. So I'm just going to click on Arial and I'm going to search for Hydrophilia. That's the name of the font we're using. So I'm just going to go to H. There you go, that's Hydrophilia. And if you didn't install it, you probably don't have it on your system, so you can't find it here. So make sure to install it. I'm gonna press Hydrophilia. Hydrophilia iced. I'm gonna leave everything نفس الشيء هون. I'm gonna press OK. So now تغيرت الفونت, صار عندي اياها شوي arcade أكتر, بطلت كتير واضحة. So I want it to look like that. It's the theme of the project basically. So I'm gonna leave it right here. Okay. So that's the score تبعولي. هلا I want to animate that score because it goes up after every time I shoot the taco. So I shoot, I kill the guy, the score gets incremented. Okay. So I need to increment the score after I kill each enemy. So you can animate this text right here by just working with the value offset and random. So as you remember, علينا نحن number, we incremented the number from 0 to 10,000 by just increasing this slider right here. Okay, so we can work with that and we can animate it. Why can we animate it? That's because we have the stopwatch. So each property that has a stopwatch, it can be animated. So if I just press right here on frame 0, I press on the stopwatch, I add a keyframe. Now you can't see the keyframe هون inside of score counter. That's because it's tucked away inside of the arrows on it. So if I just press on the arrow right here, on effects, numbers, and then format, you can see that I'm animated the value. Now كتير فت لجوا, so I don't want you, ما بدي ضيعكم كتير فيها هالشغلة. So to just open everything that's being animated inside of score counter, I can press on the keyboard. The shortcut is U. So if I press U, I open just this value. So ما بدي افتح كتير اشياء توصل لها. Same with مثلا taco truck. So the taco truck, I animated position. So if I press U on the keyboard, you can see the position being animated. Same thing for burst head. Okay, and taco, you can see that position and rotation is being animated. So just go to score counter, press U on the keyboard. You can see that I have this keyframe right here. Bye, Jana. You too. Okay, so I have this keyframe right here. And it's not being animated yet, the score. That's because I only have one keyframe and it's not interpolating between one and the other keyframe. So I need to work with that. So I'm just going to drag the slider until this head disappears. So right here. So I'm just going to wait for the head to disappear and ببلش explosion. So around this point I need to start adding the score. Okay, so I'm just going to increase the score من هون. You can either do it من فوق or من هون. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm increasing the score. هلا المشكلة is I have these two keyframes. But the problem is that it's being incremented بدون ما أقتل الguy. So I don't want that. So to fix that, I'm just going to delete this keyframe. Go to the head where it explodes, so right here. And this is where I need to press on this little thing right here on the left side. So add or remove keyframe at current time. So I don't have a keyframe هون, so it's just going to add. So now I have two keyframes. This keyframe has the same value, so 10210 and نفس الشيء هون 10210. So that's why it's not changing. The score is not changing because the values are not changing between these two. So right here, this is where I want the score to start being added. So I'm just going to قرب شوي لقدام right here. So I'm just going to skip 10 frames. So أنا قررت من راسي إنه to skip 10 frames. So I'm just going to go من 301 to 311. So 311. So right here. And I'm just going to increase the value now تبعولته. So I'm just increasing the value right here. هلا difference between ليه بتسألونا إنه why did you choose 10 frames between this keyframe and this keyframe؟ أنا قررتها من عندي هيدي. If you want to put it 5 frames بتصير أسرع السكور counter. Or if you want to make it slower, you can just put the keyframe right here. This one. So as I play it back now, go up, shoot, it disappears, and then I add the score. هلا you can see that the score is being added right here. Okay? If I want to make it slower, I can have just clicked and dragged شوي لهونيك. So now the score is going a little bit slower, or I can have just made it a little bit faster by just making them closer to each other. So now صار أسرع السكور. هلا أنا I found a happy medium between the two on frame 11, so I'm just going to place this right here. Okay, so it depends on you. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's basically for the first head. It disappears right here. Okay, now time for the second head. So right here, I want when this head disappears to add the key to add the basically the score again. So this is where it disappears. I'm just looking at the second head. So it disappeared right here. Okay, so this is where I need to start adding the score again. So I'm just going to press on this keyframe right here. I add a keyframe لأنه ما بدي إياها تتحرك بين 10,700 between this one and this one. This is where the score does not get added. So that's why I added a keyframe with the same position right here. So you can see the score is not changing. I want it to change after 10 frames, right? هيك اتفقنا نحن. So for 24, I'm just going to go to, or you can just press on the keyboard page down. So I'm just going to press page down 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is where I want to start adding the score. So I just increase this slider right here. So that's the first one. That's the second one. Now time for the third one. So this is where the third one disappears. So I'm gonna click once again on this little thing right here, add the keyframe, and skip 10 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to increase the counter once more. So now, if I play this back, the score is being added after each elimination, after each kill. Okay, so you can see that between this keyframe and this keyframe, nothing is being changed. Between this keyframe and this keyframe, you can see that the score is being added. Between these two, nothing is being added right now. Between this one and this one, the score is being added once more. هون بطل to get added, and then هون after this will start being added. So make sure that you just put this بالنص وتكبسه على الشمال هون. This is indicating that this position, this value is the same as this value, so nothing changes. لأنه إذا تركت هيدي الفاليو غيرتها بصير يتحرك السكور قبل ما بدي يتحرك. I don't want to do that. I want to change when I tell it to. ابتداء من هون. So you can see the score is being changed right here. And same here. Also here. Okay, so this is in terms of score. So you can always rewatch it and شوفوا شو عملت. يمكن you missed شو عملت أنا هون ما فهمتوا علي كتير. So if people interested, just rewatch the video. إذا عندكم شي question, just let me know before we proceed. We're just going to do 10 more minutes. Okay, so one more thing to work on is the effects of the screen. Now basically, the screen right here, you can see that it's digitized شوي. So I have effects on it to make it look like this. So it looks like a CRT screen basically. هلا نحنا screen نحنا هون كتير واضحة عنا. So we wanna change that in order to make it like this. So you can see that it's pixelized and the trucks are glowing شوي. Okay, so we need to work on that for 10 minutes. هلا بنكملها بنرجع من بعد البريك. So we're not gonna be able to finish it اليوم. So أول شي بدي أعمله is I'm gonna close effects control score counter. We don't need that anymore. Okay, I'm gonna close taco truck. So we're just left with the essentials now. It's time to work with the effects and presets. نحن we already picked numbers, search for numbers. I want to search for glow. Okay, so I'm just going to write glow inside of my search, and you can see that under stylize I have glow. So we already know that if we want to apply an effect to a certain element inside our scene, we can just click and drag this. So in this case, I'm just going to place it on the truck. Okay, so I'm just going to go to taco truck right here. So I'm just going to place it on top of it. Okay, so you can see that it started glowing. That's because I just placed glow on taco truck. So now this entire thing is glowing. So if I just go to glow radius and I increase that, you can see that it's glowing. I can play around with the glow intensity a little bit to make it more hot or cold, basically. Okay, so I want this to be affected on every other element inside my scene, not just the taco truck. So I can just go glow, copy paste this, and paste this inside of every other element. بس هيدا it would take time. We don't normally do that. So I'm just going to press on glow, press delete on the keyboard to remove the effect from the taco. So you can see that I've removed the effect. هلا to apply all my this effect to every other element inside my scene, I can use something called adjustment layers. So if I just press on score counter, go layer, new, adjustment layer, it's right here. You can see that I've added above score counter an adjustment layer 1. Okay, so this basically صارت فوقها كلها. So this adjustment layer, if I add glow to it, to the adjustment layer, you can see that glow got added to every other element inside the scene. كل شيء تحت adjustment layer got added to it. So this glow. So now إذا بعلل growth radius هون and intensity, you can see that I'm adding it to the entire scene now. Okay, so إذا بوطي adjustment layer 1 and I place it مثلا on taco truck right here, you can see the score بطل being affected by the glow. That's because basically adjustment layer is below score counter. So if I just drag this up again, you can see that score counter بلش يتأثر يرجع. So this is how I can apply effects to my entire scene without adding them one by one. So this is a good way to work with After Effects. So in this case I added glow. هلا I just want to delete that. I don't want it right now and we add it later on. Okay, so in this case, so I have an adjustment layer 1 that is affecting everything underneath it. بس هلا ما عندي شيء بقلبها. So I'm just going to add one thing called ball action. So I'm just going to inside effects and presets remove glow and write ball action. So you can see under simulation I have something called CC ball action. So I'm just going to click, drag this out and place it on adjustment layer 1. So ما بعرف إذا حسيتوا بالفرق بس ليكوا كيف كانت ليكوا كيف صارت. So now صارت أكتر pixelized, so it added a cartoon style to it. You can see that if I turn off the FX هون to turn it off and turn it on, so you can see that information بلش يروحوا شوي. So look at the score here. لك كيف كانت لك وكيف صارت. So this is a good effect, بس أكيد I don't want it like that. I want to change it this way. So I can work around with the grid spacing. So if I just click and make that even more, you can see that كل ما عليها كل ما يخف الانفورميشن. So هلا كانت هون مثلا في information أكتر من هون. Okay, so in this case I only want it to be 2. So ليكوا كيف صارت. And I want the ball size right here to be 50. So I'm just going to place 50 here. So now if I zoom in, you can see now that I created this effect. هلا you ask me why 2 and 50. That's because I did the animation before starting this class and I created this effect. So I kinda saw كيف أكتر شيء بيمشي للفيديو تبعونا. So 2 and 50 is something I decided on. هلا انتوا وقت تكونوا عم تشتغلوا you usually research شوي وبتشوفوا انه okay, so I think 250 works better than another value, so you change that. But in this case 2 and 50 works fine. So I have this effect right here now. And it got a little bit dark, so I need to add glow شوي to this screen. And so I'm just going to remove ball action here and write glow. So I have glow هون. I'm going to click and drag it. Either I can place it right here or I can just click and drag it to adjustment layer 1. Okay, so I'm just going to place it right here. It's the same thing. So I've added glow to my scene now. Now the radius right here, so في كتير اشياء بس we just need to focus on glow radius, which is right here. I'm going to increase it a little bit. So 20 is good in this case right here. I'm just going to write 20. Okay, and I want to put the intensity شوي أقوى. So I'm just going to increase the intensity a little bit. So 1.6 is good. like كيف صارت شوي التراك. So if I turn this off and on, you can see the difference between the two. Okay, هلا I'm just going to close glow and CC ball action. I'm gonna get glow, press Ctrl D on it. So this will duplicate glow. So Ctrl and D will duplicate it. So now I have another glow. I have glow 2 here. So inside of glow 2, I want the radius, the glow radius to be way less. So I'm just going to write 6 on. Okay, so 6 on. And on the intensity, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So So 0.6 is good. So I'm just going to get the effect that I want. Now, after this is done, glow 2, I'm just going to duplicate it once more. So Control D on the keyboard, I get glow 3. And this is where I want to increase the glow radius. I want to increase it أعلى شوي, so I want to make it around 38. And this around 0.8, the intensity. So I'm just going with working with the glow radius and the glow intensity. So last time, I'm gonna press on glow 3, press Ctrl D. This will duplicate it. I now have glow 4. I'm going to increase the intensity up by a lot. So somewhere around 180 is good. So 181, 183, 183 is better, I guess. Okay. And I want to keep the intensity the same thing. So around 0.8. Okay, so now I have 4 glows. So that's the first one, that's the second one, third one, and fourth one. Okay, so I get this effect. It's glowing a little bit. Now, uh, I just need to add one more thing. I think I need to reduce شوي. I think I don't know. I'm gonna leave it the same, okay? I'm gonna leave it the same. No, there's something off about it, but it's fine. We'll work it out later on. Okay, let's add one more thing before we're done, هون. Let's add something called blur. Okay, so remember in Photoshop we used to use something called Gaussian blur. We have it right here. So I'm just going to remove glow and write Gaussian blur. So under blur and sharpen you have Gaussian blur. So I can just click and drag it right underneath glow 4. Okay, هلا مش مبين شيء. That's because the blurriness is still at 0. So I'm just going to increase that a little bit. Around this is fine right here. Okay, so now if I play that, you can see that I've added this little bit of glow. هلا كتير كبرناها probably the glow, بس أنا I think it looks fine. ما بعرف ليه. هلا يمكن شوي الجلو قوي فيها. We could have just made it a little bit smaller هول الجلوز هون. بس I kind of like it شوي. So انتو while you're working, if you don't like a certain effect, you can just reduce it. كلامي مش مقدس يعني أنا basically. So you can just go تقولوا هيئته غلط. Let me just reduce the glow a little bit, play around with the intensity. So you can play around with your own stuff. So it's fine. We don't need to copy me exactly 100% when it comes to values. So I'm gonna leave it like this. هلا بشوف دقس فيها من بعد الصف بشوف إذا في حسنها شوي أكتر. And so I got to this point because I wanted to make it a little bit more cartoonish. يعني إذا برجع بتجي بطفي كل شيء adjustment layers هون ليكو كيف كانت ليكو كيف صارت. هلا I still need to add the colors for the background. بس المشكلة إنه we're not gonna have time for today. I'm gonna stop it before ما تزهقوا أكتر even. So we still have to make it the same color right here. This purple color. بتحسوا انه في gradient شوي, so it's going from light purple to black purple and then to light purple. So we can do that by using gradients. So basically you can just write gradients on it, gradient ramp, and we can use that in order to make it fit our entire theme تبعونا. هلا it looks really good to be honest. We can fix it even more by working with the background colors. بتصير احسن, مبين الcolor احسن. But for now this is good. So this is good for now. Okay, so this session is recorded now. Let me just turn this off, the recording, and you can ask me any questions if you want.